This is the Inferno Podcast, the official podcast of UAB Athletics. Blazer fans, this is the place each week to get an inside look into UAB Athletics. This episode of the Inferno Podcast is brought to you by the Alabama Department of Public Health and Pearl River Resort. Hello, friends, and welcome into episode 33 of the Inferno Podcast. I'm your host, Landrum Roberts. Coming up today on the show, UAB head football coach Trent Dilfer gets us up to date on the Blazers and how spring practice is progressing. One of the newest Blazers you're going to meet, he's on the defensive side of the ball. Very impressive young man. I'm talking about Perry Fisher. So all of that and more being brought to you by our friends at Legacy Credit Union, the official credit union of UAB Athletics, but not only things surrounding the UAB football program, but other exciting events that are taking place as other seasons continue on the spring sports schedule. All of that and more. It's the Inferno. Stay with us.
Trent Dilfer here, head football coach of the UAB Blazers. I want to tell you about my friends at Legacy Credit Union. Legacy began as University Credit Union in 1955 and remains committed to UAB faculty, students, alumni, and fans. Not only do they support the Birmingham community, but they are also proud sponsors of UAB and UAB Athletics. Visit LegacyCreditUnion.com and find out why you should become a member today.
The Inferno Podcast, Blazer fans, we've made it really, really easy for you. There's a lot of different ways that you can consume this podcast each and every week, and we certainly appreciate you doing that. But you're going to appreciate it because we're going to keep you up to date on everything going on within the athletics program, the green and gold. YouTube, it's pretty simple. At Inferno Podcast UAB, like, subscribe, ring the bell, tell your family about it, your friends, your neighbors, spread it around the office. This thing is going to catch fire, literally. Appreciate you joining us there on YouTube, but also Instagram. You can find us Inferno_pod on Twitter, or the X if you prefer, at InfernoPod_UAB. On Facebook, that's kind of the OG, right? UAB Athletics. You can find it there on Facebook. And, of course, you can go to UABsports.com. We got links. We got all different ways. There is no excuse for you to miss the Inferno Podcast each and every week.
The if in life, it's a world of possibilities. If you go for a night out with friends, if you can keep an eye on your money along the way, if you know you have overdraft protection with no fee transfers from savings, when you get a low balance alert, it's easier to say yes to fun. If that sounds good, try Regions Life Banking.
Stay ready for the if in life. Regions Bank, embrace the if in life.
Welcome back into the Inferno Podcast. It's time for our Coach's Corner with head coach Trent Dilfer. As always, the Coach's Corner is brought to you by our friends at Pepsi and Viva Health. Coach, at the time of filming this, 6 practices in. Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Oh, thumbs up. I think that our expectations for this spring ball are a little different. We're rebuilding a mentality. We're trying to have a winning soul to our program. So there's an extra emphasis on mastering the little things. And it's always been a point of emphasis, but I've learned in my 2 years that it has to be the emphasis. It can't just be a point of emphasis. It has to be the emphasis. So, kind of that unbreakable spirit, that mental resolve to focus on everything, like everything matters. And the kids have really bought it. It's a hard ask, but they've really bought it. It's been a hard schedule too. I've said that we've had to, because some class conflicts, we've had to start really early. So now we're 3 weeks into waking up at. I'm waking up at 4:30. I'm guessing they're waking up at 5. So, it takes a toll on your mental and on your body as well, and they're doing a good job fighting through it. We're installing our schemes. Getting feedback from the defensive guys. They love how the new defensive staff teaches. It's not every day's perfect, but they feel like they're being corrected. They feel like they're learning the why, the how and the what. And then offensively, because that group has been together a little bit longer, whether they've played or not, they've been kind of in the system. we've been able to get better at some core things. I thought we were jack of all, master of none last year, and trying to be, master some stuff offensively so we can have a true identity.
What's the biggest difference on the defensive side of the ball? Just kind of give us a 30,000-foot layman's view.
Yeah, without even getting into personnel and the type of personnel that this defensive staff and myself identified, it's the professionalism of the approach. And that goes from, the classroom all the way out to the football field. They're learning some very complex things, but a great coach simplifies those things. I met with the player today after practice, defensive player, we're talking about a bunch of stuff, and he was like, man, we do so many things, but I feel so clear. I feel like I can play fast. A little thing like knowing where your help is, where you can lose on a play. Like, you can't cover everything. If you're a nickel and you got a bunch set, you can't cover it all. You don't know what's coming. But when you're really well coached and you're coordinated as a defense, you know what I can't do is get beat outside here. That's not where I have help. So I can take some outside leverage. And if I happen to get beat inside, not the end of the world, because I got help coming. It's that mentality. It's in the run game, understanding blocking schemes, what the offense is trying to do. Elimination is a big part of football, both offensively and defensively. And what I mean by that is no player, NFL players can't say, I'll go defend all this, or I'll go run a plays versus all this stuff. But you can start taking pictures and eliminating what you're not going to get. And by eliminating what you're not going to get, now you can play faster to what you might get. And if those mights are only 2 or 3, instead of having to sit there and go, oh my gosh, there's 12 things. Well, that's overwhelming. So if you can eliminate 9 of them by the set, by the technique, by the formation, by the motion, by the down and distance, of all this information that's given to you, then you can play faster. And that's really what I see by our defensive staff, is their ability to teach those things and really get our players to go from the classroom, hearing them, seeing them, out on the field and executing them.
With the continuity that you've had on the offensive side of the ball, I know that can make things easier. And without being critical of anything that's happened in the past, is it almost nice to have the reset on the other side of the ball, not only with coaching staff personnel, but also player personnel?
Well, it is. And we've had it on offense to a certain degree, although Morton, myself, and Riley, have been here for the full 3 years. You have new offensive line voices. Last year was Matt's first year as the offensive line coach, and now he's got Gordon assist him, so there's a new fresh voice there. Kevin Garver running the receivers, so you have another NFL perspective of the receiver room. Danny Mitchell taking over running backs over a great running back. I mean, Henley Brigham's as good a running backs coaches in the country, but him and Danny are very different. So new voice, new way of teaching. We've kind of pressed the reset button offensively too. So we've said, we've done some good things on offense, but are we a good offense? Are we a great offense? No, we're not. So we're taking the same mentality the defense has taken, is kind of, I don't want to say blow it up, but reshape how we teach it and reform kind of the expectations.
Not that you're not a great football mind and you don't have experience at the highest level, but is there anything that you can look at and you kind of remove yourself and look at what you did in either season 1 or season 2 back in the spring and say, golly, second thought, I probably shouldn't have done that?
Yeah, I settled for good way too often, or good enough. I bought in the lie that if it's good enough in a meeting, or good enough in practice, or good enough in the weight room, or good enough in whatever, that good enough would translate to the game and be good enough to win, and it's not. Good enough equals a loss, You got to be great. You have to learn mastery of things. You have to have something you can hang your hat on. So if it's just one call on defense, but you can hang your hat on it and be like, no matter what, we can defend everything in this defense. We mastered this defense. If you can hang your hat on some things offensively, that I don't care if they're a 3-man front, or 4-man front, 8-man box, 7-man box, blitzing team, zone team, man team, doesn't matter. We can own these things and we can be great at them. If we have culture in the building that, is owned by everybody, not just some people, not just most, but everybody. You got to have those things. And I'm really sick to my stomach about that approach, because I've never been that way. I think it was part of the drinking by the fire hose, the change in climate in college football, not being able to coach half the time. Half the time you're not coaching. But those are all excuses. But like this year was a level set for me. Like, let's get back to what I've been successful with my whole life, which is mastery of things. Like, you don't just know it, you master it. And then my building's going to do it. My players are going to do it. And we're going to do it on all 3 phases. And And the push towards that is hard and it's uncomfortable and it's frustrating at times. But when you get there, you're like, okay, you play with confidence. Dramatic, it's not even a word.
It can be.
I'm going to make up words.
Yeah.
The dramatic things that happen in a game, the ebb and flows, the highs and lows, those don't faze you as much when you have mastery of certain things. You don't panic. And I look back and I just can't believe I let us get there in certain areas, but it won't happen again.
As far as to the football eye, the get off the bus test is what we talk about. I can remember you were talking about from year 1 to year 2, especially up front, how much different the body types were. Anything that you can relay to us, not just specifically defensive line, but across all positions.
Yeah, I think what we've had to do is I'm still a believer that big people beat up little people over the course of time. That's a famous Saban quote, and it's so true. And I lived in – it's not even a Saban quote. It's a Parcells. It goes back further than that. Like, it's been true for a long time. Like, over a course of a football game, a bigger, stronger human is going to wear out a smaller human. But in this day and age of college football, those big humans at all positions are getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to go play in the Power Four. So at our level, we had to look at and say, okay, well, what areas do you really need that? And we're going to talk to one today where I do think length in the secondary is really important. Because of all the different schemes, all the different stuff that goes on, the ability to play with length in the secondary is really important. I don't think height is as important at our level on the defensive line. I do think strength and explosive qualities are. So maybe we've sacrificed some height, but they're shorter guys with long arms. That's playability length, right? Separate from the offensive player. And then their power and explosive qualities allow them to defeat blocks. Inside linebacker, man, I think everybody in football would love a 6'3" inside linebacker to defend RPOs, right? And to take away space in the second level and the zone throws. But if you don't have it, what do you have to have instead of it? And you want speed, you want change of direction, you want football IQ, because a lot of times a great inside linebacker can eliminate fast because he sees something, and then he may not have the greatest physical traits, but his brain allowed him to play faster than somebody that's maybe really long but can't diagnose as fast. Offensive tackle, I still think length is really important, but it's length in the arms. It doesn't have to be height. I think foot energy is what I call it, but short area quickness and explosive qualities for interior linemen are important. Height is not as important. Receiver, we've really looked at the model that Alabama used, which is twitch is more important than height. Like if you have short area quickness, if you have twitch, if you have explosive qualities within 10 yards, you can separate from defenders and get yourself open. And so we've identified those guys. So I know it's a long answer, but you kind of have to say, okay, well, where is the height important? Where's the arm length important? Where's the this important? And then recruit accordingly. And we feel like we've hit with this group, we have the right traits at the right spots.
If there was that spot on either side of the ball where you can compensate for the lack of size, what spot would that be?
And I don't want to say size, because I bet you when people look at when our depth chart comes out and people look at, okay, your first 16 players on defense, they're going to like their weights. We have thick, strong people. And you're going to be like, wow, that guy's 6'3.5" playing in the secondary, but that defensive lineman's only 6 feet tall. But that 6 foot tall defensive lineman also weighs 303 pounds, has tremendous short area quickness, is super explosive, and has 33.5-inch arms, which is the arm length of a 6'4" kid. So I think we're fine there. I don't know if we lack size, to be honest with you. What we probably lack is that Adonis-looking 6'4", 275-pound edge rusher that everybody's looking for, right? Guess what? There's only like 12 of them out there. So UAB's not going to get one of them. But we have some really good athletes that are good football players that are playing in those positions.
The mantra has been be a pro.
Yeah.
What does that look like? I know that's
that's
loaded
I wrote
question.
a whole playbook on it that they've all read and are trying to memorize.
What does be a pro look like for Trent Dilfer as head coach?
Doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. Doing the things that you should do even though you don't feel like doing them.
And I'm sure that you have those things that you have to do.
Yes, treating people in the game with a level of respect that's second to none, and doing it for a cause bigger than yourself, if I were to sum it up.
There's a lot of life lessons in there as well. It's not just be a pro while you're out here.
Well, that's what we tried to build. When I went away for break, and I'll be unrelenting on this as long as they allow me to coach. I still am a believer that our job is to help them win off the field first. Is to pour ourselves into them so that they have a chance to have more successful lives. Like you go to college to set yourself up for a bright future. Well, these college athletes now are going to college. They're making pretty good money, many of them, while they're playing college football. They're getting a degree, which is worth a lot of money, and they will get their degree. But they also need mentors in their lives to pour into them. And the Be a Pro playbook was written with life lessons that translate to football more than football lessons that translate to life. And I actually had the same player I met with today actually called me over the weekend. Coach, I got to talk to him. I'm like, oh no, what's going on? It's the weekend. He goes, I just got to tell you, I had an interview for an internship on Friday afternoon, and they grilled me. He goes, I thought it was just like normal finance internship, like show up, and they said they got after me. In fact, Coach, I felt like they didn't want me to get the job. I mean, they were trying to get me to fail. And he said, I didn't flinch. He said, I literally, all these things you've been saying to me for 2 years started like working as a mental Rolodex, and I just started crushing this thing, and I started getting more confident in it. And by the end, like they couldn't wait for me to come work for them. And I said to this player, I don't want to use his name and embarrass him, I said, those same things, that same confidence that came out in this internship will come out in you on the football field this year. This is the year it's going to come out because now it's become part of who you are. It's become part of your DNA, and they're learning how to navigate the waters of life so much better, and that will help them navigate the waters of football.
Whatever you had going on during the weekend, that phone call to you as Trent Dilfer, not only the coach, but also the person, that would have put me on cloud nine for not only the rest of the day, the rest of the weekend. It's like, that's why I'm doing this.
Yes. And trust me, we are here to win. I'm not minimizing that.
No.
But anybody that has influence and uses authority properly and has an impact in the lives of the next generation and gets that type of call, like it's worth all the pain that I've been through, that we've been through together. And hopefully we start stacking up more of those on and off the football field, and there'll be a lot of wins.
We do have some stuff that's coming up down the road, important dates and things that UAB fans need to be aware of. The Spring Showcase, this is not new to UAB fans or your football program, but what are some of the things for folks that are like, you know what, I've had scheduling conflicts in the past. What can they expect from the showcase? One,
you get up close and personal. I think that's why I did it last year. Everybody is going to it this year because they don't want people to see their players in the portal. That was not my reason last year. I mean, not like ours was on TV anyways. Like our spring game at Protective was not a portal risk. But I felt like to have a spring game and have a few thousand people up in the stands that really can't hear or see or be part of the action wasn't great experience for them. So to take it to Legacy and put it in the pavilion and have the fans be literally on the sidelines with the players, like it's not uncommon to have, because I think we'll go defense towards the outdoor field and offense will be towards the facility. Like if you're a fan, you're right behind the defense. So when the defense coaches are talking to them, you're going to hear everything. Like if you're a 12-year-old and you want to know what it's like to be a defensive player, like you're right there. And you're going to hear Coach Russ, who coached in the NFL, and Coach Weiss, who's coached in the NFL, and Coach Mills, who's coached in the NFL, talk to their players and be like, man, I'm a 12-year-old or I'm an adult, and I get to hear what it's like. We have the bounce houses and the food truck. So if you just want babysitting for the day, bring the kids out and let them go run around. But I do think it's a really cool vibe where now the fan experience, you get to hear it and smell it and be part of it instead of just sitting up there in a seat watching it. So to me, that's the selling point. And we'll have a pretty comprehensive scrimmage. And I use it as a practice. You know, when you do a spring game, the old model of doing a spring game, you really didn't get a practice out of it. You're just running plays against another team that's a different color jersey that you're bored with anyways. And the way I do it is, we're going to run tackle football plays, but, we're going to get a practice out of it. We're going to get better at those things. And you'll hear us stop the scrimmage and coach things up and deal with situations. We'll create a lot of game-like situations so the fans and the players get accustomed to them. So I think it'll be a really good experience.
Your first season, your first spring, if I can recall, we did it there at Protective because the radio crew, we went through a game simulation.
Yeah.
And we had the Easter egg.
That's
Wasn't
right.
it the kids came out and tried to see how many Easter eggs that
Which
they
was
could
cool.
grab. That was cool.
That was cool.
But if there was one play on offense and it was a check down to the running back, I think you guys ran it maybe 30 straight times.
Because we couldn't pass protect long enough
Coach,
to do
I felt like
else.
I was just hearing stories from like an old Bear Bryant practice, like run it again, run it again.
Well, I remember Mort and I that first year as we were going through spring ball, we weren't sure if we were able to get a first down, so we found a few things that worked.
That play worked.
And we're like, we're going to keep doing that. Jermaine Brown, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's just kind of find
Just
different
throw
ways
it
to
to
get
him.
him the ball. At one point, we had about a 50-play menu of just skull plays. Jermaine Brown's nickname was Skull. And they're just like, hey, different ways we can get number one the ball and touch it and see. Because Tajon Palmer had gotten banged up in the spring a little bit, and we still didn't really know who we were on the offensive line. We didn't know what we were as an offensive line. So, and at that point, we didn't know who our quarterback was going to be. So it was just like, okay, get number one the ball as many times as possible, and we'll figure it out once the season starts.
All right, we're trying to figure out this roster. One of the newer additions to this roster on the defensive side of the ball. You're going to meet him as we continue here on the Inferno podcast. Welcome back into the Inferno podcast. Landrum Roberts, along with UAB head football coach Trent Dilfer. We're going to be joined by one of our student athletes of the week, one of the newest additions to your team, and it's been a heavy complement of defensive players, Coach. Imagine that, and we have another one here today.
Very intentional. Bringing the new defensive guys in first.
Yep.
Perry, man, you guys are going to love spending time with them. One thing we really looked hard for in this portal cycle were productive players that have played at a high level against high competition and that showed the competitive traits and poise to be successful. And Perry checked all those boxes, loved our time with him, and hungry. I'd add that too. You're really looking for a guy that's hungry for something beyond the flash and sizzle of college football right now. There's so many guys who are motivated by all the flashy things, and you're looking for guys that love ball, that are highly motivated to play it for a long time, that are hungry to play it for a long time. And that's what Perry is. And, all the physical stuff we can talk, he's physically very gifted. He's that long secondary player we were talking about, super versatile, can play on the edge of the defense, can play inside on the defense. So we're really excited about Perry, and we feel like we helped him get better too. One of the things we do is in the recruiting cycle, and our defense coaches are masters at this. I sat in a lot of the recruiting meetings before they got to me, and they're just brutally honest. They're like, hey, you're a talented player. You've done some good things, but you're not very good here, and here. And we can make you better in all five, and here's how we'll do it. And we promise you we'll do it. And the player's like, okay, I'm not used to hearing that. Well, they get here, we better fulfill that promise. And you can ask them. We identified the things that we felt he had to get better at, and those coaches are going to work at him. And in just a short amount of time, he's already making improvements in his game.
Perry Fisher, welcome to Birmingham. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Doing great. So
He's cool too now. Like he's cool.
Come up and a little bit closer to the mic. You're 6'3", 205 pounds. You said that you weighed today, so you're officially 205. But being there in the secondary, let's go back to pre-college, back to your high school days. You hail from Tallahassee, Florida, which is a hotbed of recruiting talent.
Yeah. Growing up in Tally, there's not a lot of people that really come out of there like that. I guess I'll say one of the lucky ones to come out. Growing up, I played quarterback, though. I ain't play defense. I ain't really like hitting people like that. I ain't like the contact. So I kind of shied away from it. But I say now I kind of embracing it. At Maryland, I had a lot of ups and downs. I had some things I was good at, some things I wasn't good at, and I say physicality was something that I did struggle with. But coming here to UAB with a chip on my shoulder, it's helped me to become more physical.
When did you decide that you were going to make the decision to go into the portal, being at Maryland, and then start looking around? Kind of take us through that process and some of the prospective suitors, and then how you ended up at UAB.
So I kind of knew towards the end of the season. I ain't gonna say me and my coach was butting heads, but we had a conversation. I had a conversation with the head man and also my position coach, and they kept it honest. You feel me? I ain't perform as well as they thought I would, and I know for sure I didn't perform as the best as I could either. But towards the end of the season, I started to talk with my mom, my trainer back home, and I say just other guys that was on the team, and just seeing where I can get better at. And I just felt like I knew I wanted to come back down south, or at least come back home, closer to home. I didn't have family up there in Maryland, so it was kind of tough, especially like them 3 seasons that I was up there. You know, some nights I cried, some nights I ain't had nobody to really talk to her and just get a hug out of. You know, I had to kind of comfort myself. So it kind of taught me, like, ain't nobody there for you. Like, you got to pick yourself up. Ain't nobody finna just hand you nothing, or things not finna just go your way just because you next up or something like that. So just talking to, like, my management group, I had a couple offers coming out of the portal, and I went on different visits, and, you know, it was some things that I liked at some schools and other things that I didn't like. But when I came to UAB, I felt like everything came together.
All right. Take me through, don't say the school, but if I'm in the portal and I'm going on a recruiting visit, what does that look like?
Okay, for me, or like for like a freshman?
For you.
It is different. So freshman recruiting is very different than portal recruiting.
Yes,
That's
portal
what you're asking.
recruiting.
Yeah.
I'm trying to wow you.
Yeah.
You don't need that much to wow me. I ain't gonna lie.
What have you seen from other guys? Is it a big production?
I mean, most guys look for money.
Yeah, it's just money.
Yeah.
This is all great and wonderful, but show me the cash.
Yeah, that's how a lot of people, you know, that's what a lot of people look for in the portal. But me, I'm looking for a home, somewhere I can get developed, improve my game. I know I can go to the league, so like the money thing isn't really something I'm kind of jump on. You feel me? I know it'll come. Coach Dilfer and everybody else say like it'll come as well, so I'm trusting them, you know, with that. So I know the coaches that he put around me, they'll bring out everything in me, and they see a lot in me that I don't even see in myself yet. So I say, like, just with everything that they're pouring into me and everything that I'm learning each and every day, I feel like, you know, the sky's the limit.
Rule number 1, and you're hearing this now, and now you'll hear the Power 4 guys say this, the guys, the big programs, they've learned, we've all learned, tell the kid the truth. If you just tell them the truth, they're not dumb. Tell them the truth. Like with Perry, he's a good player, man. I mean, he was self-deprecating there. He did a lot of good things at Maryland, right? But you tell him the truth. This ain't about the money, right? If you develop into your potential, you'll make money, right? But here's some things you got to get better at. And we don't have everything. We don't have everything here at UAB, but here's what we do have, and we're really good at this. And when you start telling kids the truth, they're like, okay, I can trust that. You know, and that's what I'm looking for. Or they'll say, you know, that's not what I'm looking for. Out. And you're like, cool, you saved yourself time and you saved us time.
How much did you know about Trent Dilfer? Just be honest. Nothing. Not a thing. Even being there in Maryland, Super Bowl champion quarterback. You know anything about Coach Dilfer?
These kids weren't born.
I know. I just assumed the entire state of Maryland. Everybody knows who Trent Dilfer is. I'm not surprised that you answered that way.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson now.
Yeah.
That's
who's
who I grew
wearing
up on.
my jersey, as I've told you.
And there it is.
He's wearing my jersey that let him put his name on the back. Same with Brady in Tampa. Golly, when are these guys going to figure out those are my jerseys? That those guys borrowed the back plate name.
Is there another future Hall of Famer that can take your jersey that's out there?
Oh, that's a good question.
Just thinking about your list of teams.
That's good. There's a long list. When you're not very good, you play for a lot of teams. No, I think we're good at 2 Hall of Famers.
All right, so you get to know Coach Dilfer, but what have you learned about UAB in your short time here?
Like Coach said, like they may not have everything, but they got everything that I need. At a bigger program, it's nice. Here is nice as well. It may not be as top tier as what Maryland was, but they got everything I need. Like I said, it ain't really too much different. Like, it's football at the end of the day. You working out just how they working out. You playing plays just how we playing plays. They playing the same thing. Like, it's nothing really too different. You feel me? Like, especially on defense. Defense is all about the scheme. Everybody kind of got the same scheme. You just got to know how to put it together.
Is there a particular scheme? Is there a particular situation where it's kind of your wheelhouse on defense that sets up that way? It can just be situational, where you say, I am made for this. Don't come across the middle, or don't do this, don't do that. I know there's a lot of different things to choose from, especially at your position. But
since I play inside and I say no screens, I'll be blowing screens up easy. Or I just read it easy.
Do you have a signature? I don't even know if this is allowed because it's all about team. It's not individual. I know, but do you have when you have a play, is there a gesture that we can expect from you?
Nah, not yet. I'm still thinking.
Okay.
Hey, that's a good question. I really was thinking about that, though.
Yeah, I'll have to approve of that. No, I'm just kidding. One thing we've noticed about Perry, he has a tremendous, off the charts football IQ. Like, our offensive coaches, it's still weird. We have people in the building that don't know each other's names still. Because I don't do let's stand up in the team meeting and everybody stand up and give us your life story. Because we have business to take care of. I figure, if you're a real team, you'll get to know each other. But there's still guys on the offense, who's that again? Coach, who's that? And all of our offensive coaches, he knows what's coming before we run it. That guy right there, he's smart. And the defensive coaches rave about him too, but he's got a really, really high football IQ. And I can see why anything around the line of scrimmage is really hard to run when he's playing inside against our defense. But he can do a lot of things well.
What are some things that you're hoping to tune up? I guess I'm not giving away any state secrets, right? What would you like to tune up about your game and improve upon in the 2025 season?
I just want to bring a fire. I feel like I'll be too laxed on the field. I feel like I had to amp it up a little bit. So that's kind of what I've been doing, just bringing a fire within myself. Not really looking for anybody else to make a play. I'm going to make the play.
It's fire breathers only.
Fair to say, from practice 2 to practice 6, you've made some big jumps.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the great thing about Perry. It's this whole portal group. They take coaching really well. They don't think they've arrived. They came here. I heard him say it twice, I think, chip on their shoulders. That hungry thing we talked about. They're hungry to get better. They're hungry to build something good on defense. They don't care about the last 2 defenses. We don't really talk about it that much. It's no, this is our defense. We only have 1 returning starter. And he's bought into it, Sarad, as you've heard. But they're hungry for success. They're hungry to get better. They don't think they're just because they're talented players and they recruited at a high level that they've arrived. They show up every single day and okay, coach me. Let's get after this. Make me better.
You feel like you're getting better.
Yes, sir.
Right? Yeah. And the Dragon, let's be honest, with the gear and everything else, and if we were going real life.
It's better than a turtle.
Very much so.
It's so much better. My mom went to Maryland too, but it's better than a turtle.
Yeah, I'm going to stay in my lane. I don't want you can say that because your mom went to Maryland. I'm not going to. Didn't they have the turtle shell thing going?
Yeah, it's new.
It's different.
It's pretty nice though.
It's different.
Yeah, it's nice.
Turtles, they carry a lot of diseases, don't they?
This thing's awesome.
I don't know nothing about that.
They're really old. Yeah, that is awesome. When did you get?
This is a Cole Peterson special on his way out the door. Before he went to be Coach Sirianni's right-hand man, Cole.
That's right.
Cole said, "This is the least I could do for you, Coach." Yeah, sweatshirt made.
If we're going real life mascots, though, who would win in a battle? I think the Dragon is pretty much undefeated.
You blow fire,
and they can fly,
and they can fly. They breathe fire and they can fly. You can't beat that.
Unless if you go Game of Thrones and you turn the dragon bad, then you can use the dragon against the
Either way, you can fly and
you can still utilize
bad or
the dragon.
Good, yes.
No, that's really good. We do a thing called lightning round. We get to know players and Coach Dilfer and the coaches that appear on the show a little bit better. And so we asked you just kind of random questions. And here we go. We start. Do you have a nickname?
P-Fish.
P-Fish.
Yeah.
Well, Perry Fisher, that makes sense. P-Fish. Do you like fish?
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
If you were going to eat fish, what would it be?
Catfish.
Catfish fry?
Yeah.
You're going to go cocktail sauce or hot sauce? I go hot sauce. I go hot sauce.
Yeah,
with some fries.
With
With some
mustard.
fries.
Some mustard on it.
Yeah.
Really? You put mustard on it?
You don't like mustard? You're one of those.
Hate it.
I like mustard.
You know, I'm a
I
little
love
country.
mustard.
Okay, it's his.
No, we're learning more. We're learning more about you and how
Well,
you're
last
a
year you
mustard
learned
snob.
I dressed up as Def Leppard. So what are we gonna do?
That was great.
What are we gonna do this week?
Smoked a bunch of heaters. I still just looking at those pictures that you showed. That was great. Pre-game ritual. You have a pre-game ritual you like to go through.
I call my mom on FaceTime. We'll pray.
Oh,
That's about
nice.
it.
That's solid.
Yeah,
He's got a
nothing
good
too
mom.
serious.
Yeah, I can tell. What about you? Pre-game ritual? You want to start some new ones?
I really don't have
Maybe we
any.
can do something.
I really don't. I wouldn't call them rituals.
No, just a routine.
I'm very routine oriented.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not rituals.
Okay. So it's not a certain. Okay.
No, I'm really not. I'm boring that way.
No,
I'm not boring in a lot of things, but I'm pretty boring at it. I really, especially when Mort and I are calling it together, I'm very locked in. I'm almost like a matrix in my head of game management and offensive stuff and flow of the game and situations. And like I'll spend 2-3 hours visualizing kind of the if thens in the game, and so a lot of it's just mental discipline before the game.
Hobby that takes up your time most outside of football?
The video game. I don't really do too much. I'm very chill.
Is there anything else that you're interested in doing?
Real estate.
Real estate.
Yeah.
Okay. You're actually in a really good
He's in a
market for
great
it
spot.
too. Yeah.
He's in a great spot. Yes.
You're checking all the boxes here. If you had to watch a TV show or a movie for the rest of the year, just one, what would it be?
Boys in the Hood. Movie. Power.
Power's good.
Power. And Boys in the Hood. Yeah.
The guys got me on Power last year. I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, Power.
It's good.
What's Power?
And then it's Power, and then explain the whole, like, there's other branches.
So you got Power Book 1, which is like Ghost, which is the dad. Then you have Ghost Part 2, I believe, which is Tyreek St. Patrick, which is the son of Ghost. And then you have Tommy, which is the best friend of Ghost and the uncle of Tyreek.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's
You
good
started
stuff.
watching it?
I did. The guys got me watching it last year. It was good.
But you found yourself not just watching it so you could.
I can't do in season. I get too invested. I don't have enough time.
No.
No.
And then you feel guilty for missing it, or you're just wondering.
Or I just stay up too late. I mean, I don't get home in the season until 10 o'clock at night. And I'm up at 5, so there's not a whole lot of time for anything.
All right, so you go Power. What about you?
Movie?
Or TV show? It's a Real Housewives. Come on.
TV show. Oh, gosh.
Or do you have a guilty pleasure TV show?
Our guilty pleasure TV show, my
Ones
wife and I'd be
that-
like FBI.
Well, I mean, it could be, or one that you really don't brag about watching, but you
I really
find
don't. I
yourself
used to have
watching it
those.
every now and
So
then.
I
Mine
used to
used to
have
be
those.
Below Deck.
I never
I
watched
was like,
that.
why am I watching this again?
I would tell everybody knows I would say it. I'm not afraid of embarrassing myself. I really don't have any of those anymore. I think Gilmore Girls for years because I had the daughters, so 3 girls in the house, wife, they all loved it. Houseback and I used to joke about this one too because he has daughters as well. And be like, are you watching Gilmore Girls with your daughters? And he's like, yeah. Are you? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, it's kind of good, huh? And he's like, yeah, I love it. It made me totally invested in Gilmore Girls. That was years ago.
Cooking for me is always been a passion, and I don't know why, but it was like comfort food watching her show, Pioneer Woman.
Oh, that's interesting.
I used to watch Pioneer Woman.
Yeah. Like
Even stuff that I didn't feel like I would eat, she's in there, and her family had a ranch. I don't know if you know who the Pioneer Woman is.
Nah.
Anyways, but she would do different recipes, and it was just No, it was very homey.
You know,
very comforting.
We just finished. We finished the year, but it might be one of the great shows I've ever watched. My wife and I watched House of David. Oh my goodness.
Oh, and the production value.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
And the Irwin brothers, who I got to know in Nashville, who are doing all these faith-based films, like, it is not the cheesy Christian film anymore. Like, the production value on these
They took some liberties.
top notch.
There are some liberties that were taken, and they let you know that for the added
On the very front
entertainment.
end.
You learn a little bit about Goliath and his background. By the way, is there any Goliaths? That guy, he's a bodybuilder from England.
How tall is he in real life?
6'8".
Okay, because they make him look 12 feet tall.
Yeah, they make him look like
And
he's
somehow
9'9".
they do it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, but
People have to watch House of David.
everybody could use one of those on their defensive line. I'm just saying.
He'd be dominant.
Yeah, but he'd be out of breath.
You got to
quick.
get his pads down a little bit.
His pad level is bad. House of David's a really good one.
Yes.
And if you get a chance, The Chosen, they have season 5 out, and me and my wife went to the theater to watch the first 2 episodes of Last Supper. And
Interesting.
Yeah, Chosen.
So we're gonna binge it as a family. I only get the family all together for 1 week out of the entire year now that they're all married and have kids and don't hang out with their dad as much as they should. So we have 6 days together, and we've already staged out kind of binging at night The Chosen.
What was your favorite Big Ten venue to play in outside of playing home games? I guess it would be
It's a great question.
That stadium, because there's some really good ones in that conference.
This past season or like throughout the years?
Either one or both.
I'm gonna do both. So past season, I say Oregon.
Oh, Autzen would be
That
cool.
place is cool.
Yeah. We had an opportunity to go up there, and I won't get into it. Coach Cristobal, when he was there, had invited the show that I do on a regular basis to come up there. We just couldn't make it work, but Autzen would be awesome.
Did you get one of those like misty gray Northwestern days?
No.
It seems like it's always there.
Actually, yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
It's ominous. Yeah, it's gray and dark. Yeah, it's a good one.
I don't know. That game was kind of like we should have won, but
Is this Northwestern?
yeah,
Man,
we should have won.
they should. I would just leave that side. The shot that we got, just leave that side open. It was kind of like we went to West Point.
Yeah,
This
that
past
place is
season.
awesome.
That was tight on the sideline that day, was it not?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I've never been so in.
I couldn't get rid of you.
Well,
like the whole game, you're like right
I
next to
couldn't
me.
get rid of you.
Like literally, right? And we're getting our
There's
butts
Coach-
kicked, and I'm
there's Coach Dilfer
angry.
again.
And there's Landrum again.
Well, Landrum had
Landrum,
nowhere
want
to
to call
go.
a play? None of mine are working.
wait.
Here, you try.
Look, I only needed to see so many stiff arms from a quarterback to know that they were going to do that to a lot of teams. That was a good football
My
team.
answer is easy, even though you're not going to ask. Lambeau. There's nothing in the world like playing football in Lambeau.
I went there with a family friend whose family they're up there. They're two blocks from Lambeau Field, and they've had season tickets.
He's probably the one
forever.
that BAs the bus as you drive by, because there's like these corner lots a couple blocks from the stadium as you pull in on the buses. They all go to their lawns and pull their pants down and BA.
No, that was
That's
not.
your buddy.
That was
Yeah,
totally not that
I'm gonna say
family.
it's your family. That's
but
that
there was
family.
no snow in the forecast, and we got snow that night. It was one of those flex games. The Panthers taking on the Packers. Mean Gene, do you know who I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
The old guy who does the dance. Does he do that sober?
I don't know.
There's no way that guy's sober.
That place is so amazing. I was 0-10 up there as a Buck. And then was Cleveland in 05. Favre was still there and we beat them. So I ended my career 1-10 in Lambeau. Not a good winning percentage.
Well, you got one.
Got the one.
Not many people.
And it was the last one.
Speaking of that, we will talk more about the draft as it comes closer. But I think that's awesome that they're having it there in Green Bay. Should be a lot of fun. Who is somebody that you admire or take inspiration from, Perry?
My mother,
Yeah.
single mother. Didn't have any help. Raised 2 kids. Me and my older sister. Yeah, she did a lot for me. She sacrificed a lot. Went in debt. Just for me to be in the position I am today.
Man. And you, even at your age, you're so appreciative and realizing the sacrifices that your mom made for you and your family.
Yes, sir.
Favorite sporting event to watch outside of college football? You know what? Outside of football, favorite sporting event to watch?
I'm gonna just go basketball then. I don't really watch a lot of sports like that, honestly. Not outside of college football. I feel like college is more interesting than NFL.
If we forced you to watch a sport that would be torture, what would it be?
Golf.
Oh, I knew he was going to say that. I like everything about him except that answer.
Yeah.
But, so growing up, I actually got taught how to play golf by my uncle when I was little.
Really?
Yeah. But I don't really do it too much. I'm all right at it.
You just made the mistake. Yep. Simulator. Got to get that simulator done.
Got to get that done.
We
need Blazers Sports Properties to help with that.
That's right. We will get someone right on that. It's not my department. We'll get somebody on that. By the way, we do have the Football Excellence Golf Tournament coming up May 12th at Bent Brook, 9 a.m. shotgun start. And for more information, if you want to be a part of that golf tournament, Coach Trent Dilfer, and of course, it goes to Football Excellence. And that,
do you know
why
we call it the Football Excellence Golf Tournament? You do know this. I'm just teeing myself up.
Why do you call this the Football Excellence Golf Tournament, Coach?
It's because in modern day college football, to be excellent, you have to make money. And this is how we make money. Mm-hmm. So please get online and buy a foursome.
Buy all the mulligans. Do we have mulligans for purchase as well?
If you buy a foursome, come out, request rules changes, and I'll make them.
UABsports.com, the Football Excellence Golf Tournament, May 12th, 9 a.m. shotgun start at Bent Brook. Put together your team. If you don't have 3 other friends or 2 other friends, make up a team. We'll find somebody
put together a team.
to put together a team. You might be on Coach Trent Dilfer's team. Who knows?
See if you can hit it close from me on a par 3. Doubt you can, but you can try.
Oh, so that's a challenge for all of our great UAB. Or just if you're a golfer and you're watching this and you're like, I would really like to show up, Trent Dilfer. There's your opportunity.
Neck surgery, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'll still hit it.
See, he's already throwing in the built-in excuses. He's a scratch golfer, though. Don't let him fool you.
Greg McElroy will be there.
Okay. G-Mac's going to be there?
He'll be the biggest celebrity.
Is he toting a scratch?
No. G-Mac's probably a 4, 5, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
He's a good player. Hits it way by me. Like, bombs it by me.
Well, he's still a baby.
He's young. Yeah, I'm 70 years old.
Yeah. Perry, we're really excited to have you.
Appreciate you.
Anything you'd like to tell the UAB fans?
Go Blazers.
Go Blazers.
I like this kid.
I do too. That's secondary. You got some size back there.
We do?
I don't know why I'm whispering.
You
The Inferno podcast. We
You ain't see
continue.
it all.
As UAB athletes, there's nothing we like more than the roar of the crowd.
Around here, we say we win as one.
One.
And to keep cheering for the green and gold.
There's one thing we need from you.
Ask your doctor about an RSV vaccine.
And help protect everyone. Our littlest Blazers and our most seasoned fans are most at risk from RSV.
Ask about your RSV vaccine today.
So we can all stay in the game.
And win as one.
Welcome back into the Inferno podcast. Landrum Roberts with you. It is time for This Week in UAB Athletics, presented by the Alabama Department of Public Health. To help protect all UAB fans, ask your doctor about your RSV vaccine today so we can all win as one. We like to see UAB winning. How about UAB softball? Now 6-9 in conference play. They fall 2 out of 3 last weekend of the series. They take it on the road this weekend, beginning Friday at 6 p.m. as they take on UTSA. Baseball, meanwhile, they'll travel to New Orleans to take on the Tulane Green Wave. Friday night, 6:30, the first pitch in that one. Casey Dunn and the Blazers now at 3-6 in conference play. Beach volleyball, they went 3-1 last weekend. They host Missouri State at noon coming up on Friday, and then Tennessee Tech, they're going to host at 5:30. You can find them there at the UAB Beach Volleyball Complex. And then Friday and Saturday, you've got women's track in the Alabama Crimson Invite. So that going on in Tuscaloosa. Then more from beach volleyball on Saturday as they host Austin Peay at noon and Southeast Louisiana at 4. Men's tennis on the road at Jacksonville State at noon. Women's tennis at Kennesaw State also at noon. Then more baseball at Tulane, 6:30 on Saturday. Softball at UTSA at 2 p.m. And then to wrap it all up on Sunday, baseball in Tulane at 1 p.m. Softball, UTSA also first pitch at 1. And men's tennis hosting Rice at 2 o'clock on Sunday. For comprehensive look at schedules, up-to-date news, and all of that good stuff, you can find it at UABsports.com. This is the Inferno Podcast, the official podcast of UAB Athletics. Blazer fans, this is the place each week to get an inside look into UAB Athletics. This episode of the Inferno podcast is brought to you by the Alabama Department of Public Health and Pearl River Resort.